Well, big night for a lot of reasons, Gary, Chief and Damo are here, of course. There's your staple diet on a Friday night, and last time I checked, that was good enough to distance the other mob almost by double at the ratings Tuesday. Not that anyone picked up on it, but when you're twice as much as everyone else, 10 plus, that's all people listening, it's pretty comprehensive, and I can see why. Now, Gary.
I don't like to correct you too often.
Well, we're more than double.
Ratings are out this week.
They were.
I don't think they were.
Well, how do you know? What do you know? Yes, you do.
Well, when the ratings are out, today I picked the small paper up, the Herald Sun, and they always write an article on the ratings, on who wins the ratings.
Traditionally, they have.
Always do, Jim, since I can remember, and so I didn't read it.
Well, Gary, in football...
And then I look at The Age, who are owned by 3AW or 3AW and the same owners, so I always look to them, and they didn't write anything, so I don't think they're out.
Well, this is how I see it, Gaz. In football, there are players, and they don't tend to last particularly long, who pick and choose. They go when they choose to go, and they stay when they choose to stay.
What, vested interest style?
Well, they just go, sometimes if it suits me, I'll go, and sometimes if I don't like the heat in there, I'll stay.
So real petty stuff.
Well, they end up not playing.
So whether they've got a link maybe to one of the other stations, and then they're not big enough then to write the results.
I don't know, but 3 or 4 years ago, when a couple of those AM stations had a decent survey, it was back page.
It was like back, front, and a couple in the middle.
So since then...
Just
hasn't been mentioned.
Incredibly silent.
In print anywhere.
No. Well, so therefore, I don't think there was a survey.
Well, there were, and it was very nice. So I just tell the millions of listeners, of course, who love Triple M footy, because they feel better about themselves, Purple. When they know that they're riding the fastest horse, they feel better about themselves while they're listening. So they should.
And we thank them.
Of course. But speaking of ratings, Hot Breakfast has been extraordinary now for 3 or 4 years, number one FM, and just dominant in that breakfast slot. Our man, the Duke, probably third
and
wheel.
Rita.
But
and Rita.
They've got, of course, Mick and Ed. And Ed tonight, Chief, as I welcome you.
Oh, hello, Jim.
Has got the very, very important job of kicking a brand spanking new yellow Triple M Tommy Sharon 50 metres into the goal square, where Paul Curry's got a market. If he does, he wins a minimum of 10 grand.
Yep.
He could win $1 million.
Yep.
How's he going to go, Ed?
He'll gas it.
Oh.
There's nothing surer.
He won't, Gaz. He's been training for 3 weeks, Chief.
Seriously, it's like backing Black Caviar at about start number 15.
Chief, he's been training for 3 weeks. He's got a slight adductor tear.
He can train the house down for 6 months, and he ain't getting anywhere near the goal square.
Well, let's not forget Warrior, the greatest of all time.
He's going to have to blast his best torp to make it there.
Let's have a listen to the greatest of all time. This is a couple of years ago.
There's Big Timmy. He's in the square underneath it. I love the style. That's
That went through extra cover.
That was the duck.
That was Wayne Carey.
So that's the duck shank. What's Ed going to do?
Well, this is why I ask you, Chief.
Ed may not touch leather.
What?
He might have an airy.
What, John the Butcher style?
I'd be very surprised if he makes it the full
I'm backing him in. I saw him in the pave. He's got the Copa Mundials.
He's been down to Jimmy Tansy and got himself a brand new pair of Copa Mundials.
Explain to me this, all right?
He has.
He definitely has.
Adidas and traditional black and white stripes.
Beautiful boot they were in the day. He has to kick it outside the 50, does he?
From the line of the 50 into the goal square.
And it has to be marked in the goal square.
Yes.
He won't hit the goal square.
Well, this is where we get a layer added to this. Because if Ed has 3 or 4 goes and the adductor gets a bit strong for him, and he can't get
on
there,
standby?
Then in comes Duke.
Not pencil. He won't make it.
In comes
and
the
if
Duke.
Duke can't hit the goal square 3 or 4 times, then where do we go?
Duke couldn't hit the goal square when he was
Duke's
playing.
a 200 game All-Australian for the Western Bulldogs.
Jim.
2 knees, though, Jim.
Duke's a ruckman.
And a real gangly left foot, shocking ball drop styling too. I think
a spindly vice-ridden head on him, and they're just... He'd be lucky to even see the goal square from where he is sitting. So, seriously, what's going on here? So, when Ed messes it up and then Duke stuffs it up, you're
going down, Gaz. You're going down if that happens.
I'd get comfort if the Wolf went down.
Yeah, well, exactly. I was just going to say.
If they go down anyway.
If you want someone to hit the goal square, send one of the greatest, if not the greatest goal kicker of all time down.
Would you
I don't
have
think Bugger will come for that.
No, I'm talking, current styling in here. And so if the Chief went down, and then we'd have a good competition and everyone would be happy.
We did a third backup.
There needs to be a third
I'm
backup.
backing Eddie in, but maybe not. My only concern for Ed is the 50 from the 50.
The trip is an
That's
issue.
a fair trip.
It is a good trip, and that's true.
if
He
you
hasn't
haven't-
got the journey in those little
No.
legs.
So what happens if he must have to be able to go in a bit?
Apparently, it's got to be kicked from 50.
What terms and conditions?
And
the game mightn't start till half-past 9.
Correct.
Land in the square. And Paul Curry from Geelong has never played football before in his life.
Oh, he's going to
good
drop
luck.
it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's it. He's a golfer and works for one of the big real estate companies down in Geelong
Yeah.
and does not play football, hasn't almost ever.
You don't have to just to catch a pill kick to you, Jim. I mean, given it's going to land in a little box that you're standing in, you don't have to run too far. It all depends on the kick.
Well, Chief, you
And
take it.
unfortunately, we've got two bozos that can't kick that are in charge of doing the kicking, Jim.
You take it for granted, Chief, because you did it for a living for 15 years. People that have never caught a Sharon that's coming in from 50.
Jim, that's not hard.
It's not going to. Hey, it's not
Come
going to
on.
have a lot of heat coming on from Ed, is it?
Bit of pressure though, Chief. There's a
What?
crowd to contend with,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a moment to contend with, thinking that ball could
10
well be
grand.
worth 10 grand or a million.
Or maybe a brick.
Imagine if they spill it. How embarrassing.
You'd actually
Fair
like that.
to
You'd like that,
Look
wouldn't you?
at Chief. You can see how delicious he's finding all of this.
I look forward to it. More so, I'd love someone to get a life-changing experience in terms of the money they win. I think
Yes.
that's the fantastic thing that
be
can
good.
happen tonight. But to see Ed and Duke royally rooted up would be absolutely fantastic, I think.
What I love, Gary, is how the Duke, it doesn't matter how any sort of discussion's framed, ends up under the bus.
Duke?
Yep.
Well, honestly, I'm right behind him.
He's
as
my
you know.
front room operator, so I only want respect.
No one's backed him up over the years more than me. So
Oh.
he knows it. He knows
You
that I've
actually
been-
got rid of him off the exit.
Well, that's the best thing that happened. I'm with him, but I wouldn't back him to kick. In fact, there's only a small handful that would be able to do that, to kick it from outside 50 if you haven't played footy for 10 years.
Well, it's my understanding that Ed's now, because of the wind, kicking to the Geelong cheer squad end, the
Is he?
punt road end, so he's getting a bit of assistance.
Yeah.
Better blow up a bit.
He has got an adductor too.
Oh.
That's a serious injury,
Righto.
an adductor.
Yeah.
So throw that into the mix.
Well,
Please, Chief, he has. I spoke to him.
Please.
I spoke to him. He's been in heavy training.
Please.
well, for the Herald Suns Nissan Supercoach, this is the Friday rub. We've got some big stuff to get through tonight,
Nappy boy.
including $1 million kick potentially by our man Ed Maguire, the king of the hot breakfast.
Won't get it done.
Chief's emphatic.
Positive, Chief.
The Duke comes in half an hour to
Won't
tell
get
us.
it done either.
This is the Friday rub. And for McDonald's, by the way, mid-size Sharon football for $4.95 with any medium or large meal at McDonald's.
Crabs.
Triple M Rocks football.